Nation of Fit in 10, it is day 41. And have you booked your body fat scan yet? It's Thursday, they start in 2 days. Actually less than 2 days because it's the afternoon on Thursday, so less than 48 hours, your scan will take place. That is your third scan, and we will see how you are progressing. I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to check yourself out, see how you're doing, and find out where you sit on the map from point A to point B in this challenge, because that's what it is. Okay, just do it. You paid for it. Let's find out. All right, it's not the end of the world if you didn't make progress. It's not. We have to learn from these things. All right, questions. Okay, let me get to this one here. Okay, so can you double up on workouts in one day? I'm going to suggest that you don't. Not weight training workouts. Cardio, certainly better than nothing. I'm trying to think if I can come up with an argument as to... Okay, so I'll just tell you right away I don't like that. So for weight training, I can easily tell you why not, because you're just not going to have two productive weight training workouts in one day. You're tired after you weight train, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to go in again soon, or do two workouts in a row and have the same level of effectiveness in the gym. So I just highly, I just don't recommend that. Plus, you open yourself up to greater chance of injury, that type of thing. Okay. When it comes to cardio, I don't have any. I guess my only argument would be, I would try to split it up, because I think it's going to be more effective to split it up still. If you know for sure, I can only do two, so I either do two, or I do, basically three, but I double up on one of them. Then yeah, double up on them with the cardio. But there's a few things that come to mind as to why that probably wouldn't be as good. Although that's just my own, there's no evidence or proof of this, okay? But I mean, you get some kickback out of this. You get some level of EPOC, right? That elevated metabolism after doing the intervals. And I think if you do two separate ones, you're gonna overall get more caloric burn. Again, I could be wrong, but this is my thought. You're gonna get more overall caloric burn over total time for that day if you split up two sessions. All right, and also the cardio's getting harder. So what you want to do 20 intervals, in whatever you'd have to do that in an hour. It's a lot. Okay, the intervals are getting harder. They're around 85% of your max heart rate. Okay, that's pretty high. All right, next question. This is a great question. It's loaded. I'm gonna try to be. I will not be fast. I'm just telling you right now. This could be a part A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and on question in terms of the amount of material I have to say on this. But let me read you the question. All right. So the person says, this is unrelated to me, but my son was wondering. He's 5'10", weighs less than me. He is all skin and bones. Fast metabolism, ? He was curious what kind of macro targets someone like him would get and why. It seemed like a simple and dumb question to ask. I know why I decided to join Fit10. My health was a major contributor. But what about all the young people who are in the program? Would you say they are, in brackets, my son included, unhealthy or unfit? Help me understand. My children all played high performance volleyball. They have some strength sessions with the team, and they run and walk. Okay, this is a great question. There's a few in there. Okay, so let's just get to your son. What do we do with his macros? Well, the first thing I'd want to see is actually just have him journal, even just roughly journal. That is, he doesn't have to weigh out his food, so that would be good. But I want to get an idea of how much he's eating, because maybe he's just not eating very much. It's very possible. But I mean, surely when you're younger, yeah, you're going to have a faster BMR. As you age, your BMR does start to decline. Hormones are spiked at that age, and everything is fresh. So your BMR is at its highest point. Your engine is essentially the biggest, but you can build that engine, right? You can at least partially build that engine, namely muscle mass, right? So, which is what I have at the challenge. So where would I start with his macros? Well, I don't know how old he is exactly, but I'm assuming he's probably in his later teens or maybe his early 20s. I'd have to know his weight and stuff like that, but definitely I would start him at a higher caloric value, most likely, than what I would with people in the Fitin10. But again, I'd want to see what he's doing with his food currently, because if he's not eating very much, then I wouldn't want to skyrocket his calories, like double them. That would, that may not be a good idea. So that's what I would say about that. But chances are he's probably eating a lot of calories, and he probably has a fast metabolism. So I'd probably have to up his calories more so than what I would for the typical person. Okay. All right. So now here's the next question. But what about all the young people who are in the program? Who would you say they are, my son included, unhealthy, unfit? So, I don't even know how you define healthy. Let's start with health. How do you define healthy? How do you define it? We can look at blood markers. We can look at total cholesterol, although I don't really know if that's really an issue, to be honest with you. You can look at blood glucose levels. You can look at inflammatory markers. You can look at blood pressure. There's all kinds of things. You can look at heart rate. So these are all signs, perhaps, that things are not where they should be. But that's just one component, right? Certainly when you have a bunch of components in the body that are maybe not where they should be, then you are more likely to develop, especially some of these chronic diseases. So, you can start to say, well, this person here appears to be less healthy than this person here based on a certain criteria, right? But I cannot categorize people as healthy or unhealthy. I really don't know. I feel like I'm healthy, but I don't actually really know. I don't know everything that's going on in my body right now. If you have, again, going back to some of those markers, if those are all in check, then yeah, you have less chance of being at risk to certain metabolic diseases and probably other things like cancer and stuff like that. But to say somebody's healthy or unhealthy, hard to say, for sure. There are so many contributors to that. So, why would somebody younger be doing this program? Well, because they probably care about their health and they want to, listen, it's like money in the bank. The earlier you do it, or it's like saving for your retirement. The earlier you do it, the better off you're going to be in the future. So, for the young people in here, I think kudos to them. But again, it's never really too late. Okay, so I don't want to be discouraging to anybody who's in the challenge and who's older, because I don't really believe it's ever too late, right? Because you just don't know. But yeah, how do you define fit? There's various components to fitness, right? You've got things like respiratory endurance and cardiovascular endurance and muscular endurance, and you've got strength and power, and you've got things like balance and coordination. You've got all these things, right? So how do you define fit? What if I'm really strong and really powerful, but I severely lack in my cardiovascular rating? Am I fit? Or I'm super strong though. So how do you define that? Or take the reverse of that. What if you're a long distance runner? You can run miles and miles and miles very fast. You're relatively lean, but you've got low muscle mass. You've got low bone density, which is common among runners, and you're not very strong. So who's more fit? I don't know. I don't even know how you classify that, right? I will say that people that are good at all components of fitness, those are probably, in my opinion, the fittest people, just because they're pretty good in all components of fitness. And this is where we would see people doing like CrossFit or like avid CrossFitters. They are probably really fit people. So those are sort of my thoughts on it. It's really hard. We love to categorize. We love to label. We love to be like, am I in the okay box or am I not in the okay box? And I need to know. And the reality is to me, it's always just a gradient. And so it's really hard for me to put borders down on certain things, and this is one of them. Certainly we can look at people and we can probably make a good estimate as to maybe, this person's in this condition or this state. We need to improve these things. These things are unhealthy, so let's improve them. But, I might say they're unhealthy and the guy next to me says they're not. So who's right? Where do we look? There's no Bible. There's like, we just don't. There's no God coming down to us and saying, you are fit. We just don't know. So we can only just kind of make something up and say, yeah. But again, it's kind of opinion, right? So you really just have to look at things that are affecting your health, and then improve them, right? You just have to look at improving yourself. All right. So that's all I'm going to say on this. That's well over 11 minutes. Message of the day, and I thought this would be the most fitting one for today because this is really important. Don't compare, don't categorize, don't label, don't put yourself in a box, but rather improve yourself. Okay? So don't compare, don't categorize, don't label, don't put yourself in a box. Just look at where you are and decide whether you want to improve those areas or whatever your, whatever you think needs to be improved. Okay? So that is my message for you. All right? Self-improvement. Rather than deciding where you ought to be. Well, listen, the goals are important, for sure. That we have them in this challenge. But, the goals are simply there so you have something to strive for. It's really hard to strive for something. It's hard to strive for a finish line when you don't know what the finish line is, right? So you got to give a finish line. But again, it's just really subjective, right? So, again, I know you guys probably don't like it when I say I don't have, we talked about how much should I be able to lift? Yeah, I know. You don't like that answer because you want me to tell you how much you should be able to lift. But I just don't believe in that. Just pick something you want to improve in that you think is important to you and improve in that. Okay? If it's not important to you, it's not important to you. But it's hard to be good at everything. In fact, you can't really. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. Submit and commit to this challenge. Positive energy, positive vibes. As always, believe in yourself. Send me some gratitude in your feedback this weekend. I got about 30 feet. No, I don't even think I got 30 feedbacks, by the way. Send me your feedback, please. It doesn't have to be anything major, although, I do think you should put some time into this because, reaching out to me is part of being, or sending me your feedback is part of you being accountable, right? I will talk to you all very soon. Signing off, day 41. See you guys.